Nos encontramos frente a uno de los objetos originales más representativos del museo, símbolo de la maldad y testigo mudo de la desesperación y la muerte de millones de judíos. Su importancia es de tal magnitud, ya que sin el sistema ferroviario la solución final hubiera sido prácticamente imposible. Los campos de exterminio fueron deliberadamente construidos en zonas próximas a las estaciones de tren. Auschwitz, Treblinka, Sobibor, Majdanek, Belzec, Helmut fueron el destino de millones de seres humanos. Este labor en particular transportó a cientos de miles de judíos entre marzo de 1942 y agosto de 1944, transportando junto con otros 137 trenes a los judíos de Hungría hacia Auschwitz. Que la memoria mantenga vivo el recuerdo de generación en generación.
I am honored with your presence on this day of remembrance. We are gathered here in front of one of the most representative and original objects in the museum, a symbol of evil and silent witness to the deportation and the death of millions of Jews. Its importance is of such magnitude, since without the right system, the final solution would not have been possible. The extermination camps were deliberately built close to the train stations. Auschwitz, Treblinka, Sobibor, Majdanek, Belzec, and Chelmno were the destinations of millions of human beings. This wagon in particular transported hundreds of thousands of Jews between March of 1942 and August of 1944, along with 137 other trains transporting Jews from Hungary towards Auschwitz. Let memory keep alive the remembrance from generation to generation. Next, I give the floor to Mr. Alberto Pichi, President of the Montesimaí community, that will address us with a few words.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Jewish community of Mexico, I want to thank you for the opportunity to address this work. Welcome, Minister Mikhailchi. It is an honor to join us and thank the Memoria y Tolerancia Museum for hosting this important commemoration event. Today, we honor the victims of the Shoah, men, women, and children who have no right to collect their remains. We remember again the Holocaust as the worst episode in the history of the humanity, where before the silent gaze of the world, 6 million of our brothers were murdered, including 1.5 million children, for the simple fact of being Jews. Memory is a way in which we return a little of the dignity that catastrophe took from the victims. It is a battle against opium and for the respect of those values that were manipulated, invested and destroyed to carry out the crime against humanity. It is the only way to fulfill our commitment to never again allow similar actions. But the Shoah also reminds us the incredible strength and the fightful of the human spirit. This year marked the 80th anniversary of the Warsaw Ghetto uprising, when in an act of bravery and gallantry, a group of young Jews revolted against the actions of the Nazi regime and its collaborators, fighting for their lives as one of the forms of resistance against oppression and intolerance in defense of the human dignity and freedom. And today, we here remember and honor all those who suffered, those who struggled, and those who died. Also those who resisted and managed to survive, and those rebels who risked their lives and who did not want to remain passive in the fact of so much evil and injustice. The Holocaust is not only just a Jewish issue, but also a universal theme that forever obscured the 20th century in the face of destructive dynamics unleashed by nationalism, the disappearance of the values of the civilization, and the absence of the sense of man that should make us reflect on the mechanisms that can lead the human being to transform into a beast, process to deal with blindness and rejection of the other. Unluckily, we are still witness growing anti-Semitism, the trivialization and denial of the Holocaust, as well as the resurgence of neo-Nazi parties and movements, an evil greatly and envy in the world. Let's not forget that we are responsible to keep memory alive, for transmitting it, for fighting for the fundamental values allow harmony and coexistence in a free and diverse society that accepts, respects, and enriches itself with defense. That overcomes silence and indifference and the guarantee that the tragedy such as the Shoah are never repeated. Thank you.
Next, I will ask His Excellency, Ambassador of Israel in Mexico, Ita, to please share words with us.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Dear Billy Cohen, one of the founders of this museum, thank you for opening again the doors of the museum on Yom HaShoah. Last year, we held an intimate event here in a format known as Zikaron Basalon, remembrance in the living room at this very spot. Thank you, Sonia, for guiding us through the museum. Dear Evento President of the Sinai community, acting as representative Comité Central, the roof organization of the Jewish community in Mexico. Esteemed Delgado, what should I say? It's written Undersecretary, Secretary, future, at the Secretariat of Foreign Relations of Mexico, dear Octavio Clip, who's somewhere over there, and Enrique, from the Director General of Middle East, North Africa, and Central Asia at the same ministry. Esteemed Amichai Shiki, Minister of Diaspora Affairs and Social Equality, and members of his delegation, Moshe Levi, Israel's hero, Yossi Dagan, Lee Sheffer, Yigal Amedi, and other esteemed guests from Israel, dear Chazan, who is accompanying us today again, dear Isaac Asa, last but certainly not least, founder and CEO of Ilan, and let me welcome two dear friends. We've known each other since yesterday, the grandchildren of Jose Arturo Castellanos, Colonel Jose Arturo Castellanos, who was recognized as righteous among the nations, and if I'm not mistaken, is now better known as the Oscar Schindler of Latin America. He, together with a Jewish partner and some other volunteers, rescued as much as 40,000 Jews. Thank you for being with us, it's an honor. Last evening, in the main square of Yad Vashem, the annual opening ceremony of the Holocaust Remembrance Day and Heroism took place according to the law bearing that name enacted in 1959. The highest authorities of the state were present, as well as resident ambassadors, survivors, and their families, righteous among the nations, and other guests. The torchlighters of this year, 6 out of 140,199, Holocaust survivors still living among us in Israel, where Robert Bonfil, born in Greece, Efim Himmelstein, born in Belarus, Tova Gutstein, born in Poland, Ben Zion Reich, born in Romania, Malka Rendel, born in Hungary, and Judith Solberg, born in the Netherlands. They have lit 6 torches, symbolizing the 6 million Jewish victims of the biggest mass murder in human history, among which 1.2 million children. Imagine the potential contribution to Jewish life and humanity in general with these children. It's worthwhile reminding ourselves that the final solution to the Jewish question devised by the participants of the Wannsee Conference on January 20th, 1942 was to be applied to more than 11 million Jews, including those living in the communities of North Africa. This year, the general theme of this Remembrance Day is Jewish resistance in the Shoah under the sign of 80 years of the Warsaw Ghetto uprising. A misconception had us believe in the remote past that the Jews went to their death as sheep to the slaughterhouse. The 700 young fighters of the Warsaw Ghetto, the combatants of the Białystok and Minsk ghettos uprising, the Jewish partisans in the woods of Central Europe, their brethren in the French resistance, the many decorated Jewish officers and soldiers of the Red Army, all are a vocal testimony to the courage of our people, defying the mighty German Reich and the misleading propaganda during these dark years. This year we celebrate 75 years of independence of the state of Israel. We can only regret the fact that we have not witnessed the rebirth of the Jewish state 1 decade before it actually occurred. To this day, Yad Vashem has conferred the highest official title of Israel, the recognition of righteous and good nations, to about 28,000 people. Many more will remain anonymous. These charitable people, while endangering themselves and their families, offered a helping hand to the persecuted Jews, and by their noble deeds have given us a ray of hope and belief in the kindness of men. Allow me to seize this opportunity to recall the names of the Bach family, Marie and her daughters Germaine and Justine, who hid my father, his 2 sisters, and 3 of his cousins in the French Pyrenees, and thus saved them from a certain death. May their memory be blessed forever. Zachor, the biblical command, invites us to transmit the torch of the Shoah to the next generations, to tell the stories, to inform about the facts, but also to draw the necessary conclusions, to act in order to guarantee zero tolerance towards racial discrimination and social injustice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. I will ask now Ms. Marta Delgado, Vice Secretary for Multilateral Affairs and Human Rights at the Foreign Affairs Secretary, to share our results.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I greet you all in this very important day. On behalf of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Marcelo Ebrard, I want to thank Millie Cohen, thank you Millie, Vice President of the Memory and Tolerance Museum, and also Mr. Vital, Ambassador. Thank you very much for being always keen to providing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to every important moment for Israel, Ambassador of Israel to Mexico. I'm Jair Chikli, Minister of the Diaspora and the Social Equality of Israel. You're very welcome to Mexico. The distinguished authorities and members of the Jewish community, Marshall, my friend, SAC, thank you for inviting us to be here, and all the authorities of this amazing monument of tolerance and the fight against discrimination. The title of this event, every word has a meaning. Holocaust, Martyrs and Heroes, Remembrance Day 2023, this year that we are living. Jewish resistance during the Holocaust, marking 80 years since the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. We can recall the history. We can also read all the walls that we are surrounded by and reflect on the lessons that maybe we have learned, but maybe we have not. Because nowadays we still experiencing in the world discrimination, wars, and racism. It is a solemn day in which we remember these martyrs and heroes of the Holocaust and honor the memory of the victims and those who suffered and fought against oppression. The Holocaust was an unprecedented genocide affecting millions of people, especially vulnerable groups and the Jewish community. We have to remember that in the first place, a lot of vulnerable communities were persecuted. 6 million Jews lost their lives in Nazi concentration and extermination camps, a crime against the whole humanity, perpetrated that constitutes one of the darkest pages in human history and that we must not forget. We also remember that when I see this, I feel shame, but also I feel the courageous and heroism of people that resisted and those who fought against oppression and barbarism in that Warsaw Ghetto. The Jews who have been deported there gathered in an act of courage and determination, faced the Nazi forces with a few resources and weapons. You mentioned that maybe it happened because they were weak, but nobody really understood by then what is going to be that. Maybe this lack of understanding of the situation that was surrounding the specific part of the story was part of not a weakness, but not to understand something make you not to really be prepared or aware. Now we are, because we know that can happen again maybe, and we can get stronger, as you said, and you mentioned in your speech. I think that even though the odds were against them, the Jewish of the Warsaw Ghetto did not give up. Their display of courage and determination inspire us to fight, inspire us very much to fight for what is right. We must learn from their example and to continue to work together to build a more inclusive society in all senses, where human rights are respected, hate speech must be eliminated, and also diversity must be celebrated. This unprecedented war not only deeply affected the countries that the Nazis invaded, it also had repercussions world over. 7 decades after these events, the UN member states share the collective responsibility to ensure peace and security in the world. That's why the United Nations were founded. Why? Because of that. Today, internal and international conflicts persist in different regions around the world, which is why we must work together fervently in favor of peaceful solutions of conflicts to avoid wars and tragic events. I want to congratulate the directors, Sonia, Milne, for being so passionate about sharing with the Mexican community and also with our visitors. Not just the Holocaust, but other events that around the world have happened, and we can learn from that very much. And this is a monument for that also. I always enjoy coming to the museum for conferences, but also sometimes just for visiting and reflecting on the mission that we have. I am in charge of multilateral affairs, and we need this kind of inspiration. The global communities continues facing discrimination, hate, violence, affecting vulnerable and marginalized groups around the world. So our responsibility as a global citizens are to fight this injustice must be never perpetrated in their societies again. And a final note, a personal one. I want to thank Isaac Asa for your generosity and for bringing to Mexico always the best of your community from very, very far away. Thank you. I also want to thank Ambassador Trip and Ambassador Vital for making our relationships very soft and very good, and Mexico and Israel. I want to thank also Moshe, Lady, for being here, for trusting us. And finally, I want to say that these events are important, and more important if we share that with the younger generation. So that's why my daughter Gala is here. She's here because we need this not to be forgotten, never. We need all the new generations to understand the risks of intolerance. And I really believe that if they can come to the museum and learn about this tragic experience, we are going to be we're going to be strengthened on the fight against those risks that we are facing right now. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Madam Vice Secretary. I ask now Mijal Chiqui to honor us with his words, please.
What an honor. Thanks so much, future Minister, hopefully, the Ambassador, Vital, my dear friend, Mr. Isaac Asa, President of the land, Yibo Israel, Moshe Levy, who lost a brother and a sister in the Holocaust. My dear friend, Mr. Gil Sheffer, who invited me to this event. Mr. Yossi Dagani, Galamedi, Rami Kleiman, the team of the museum, this powerful museum, and you especially, is very important. Thank you for all that you're doing here. I want to share with you one experience from this afternoon about education, about the Holocaust, and two of the most powerful lessons that I've learned from my teachers throughout my life on the Holocaust. So first, about 2.5 hours ago, we were in a Jewish school named Magen David. And we were visiting, and they told me, look, there is a small museum that was made by the students of the high school. And we came to an outstanding exhibition. You cannot imagine that it was made effort of months by the students who were themselves the guide. And so it was a very powerful educational experience to see what can we do in terms of creativity to make the younger generation to understand? And by the way, every year they are changing completely the exhibition. And it's the project. And they are bringing more than 500 non-Jews to visit their exhibition, their small museum. I wish you can cooperate together. So that was not part of something that I planned to say, but this is so, so important, as I see it. So the most powerful lessons that I've learned about the Holocaust, I learned it when I was only 19 in a gap year program. It's called Mechinat Tzba'it. We had a professor, by the way, he was living in the Shomron, in Tumim. He passed away already. His name was Yosef Ben Shlomo. He was invited to Oxford, but he chose to give up Oxford in order to teach 40 young Israelis about the Rambam, Maimonides, about Spinoza, and about the Holocaust. And here is his comments about the uniqueness of the phenomenon of the Holocaust and why it is an uncomparable event in human history. One, human life, without any territorial dispute, without any religious dispute, without any political dispute. And let's not forget that in the First World War, 100,000 Jews were soldiers in the German army. The German nation says they want to eliminate the Jewish people until the last 200 Jews of Albania, for absolutely no reason. The Vanza Committee too. Zero resistance, not because of administration, not because of military needs, not because of basic human compassion. C, a collective effort. We tend to think that the executors, the assassins, were devoted Nazis, but they were ordinary Germans who see it, so no problem. Absolutely no problem. Daniel Goldberg said that there is not even one case documented of someone who was punished for refusing to kill the Jews. Indeed, no way out. You cannot raise a white flag. You cannot, like the story you just told us at the beginning. What was his name? Alvada? The name of the the Jew who was burned alive. Carvajal. So Carvajal could choose to convert to Christianity and save his life. This option of Kiddush Hashem was not an option in the Holocaust. And even if you ran away to the next state, also no way out. And last, the totality. Even when they were losing at all fronts, even when he was surrounded by Soviets, and he launched his last letter to the German people at 4 a.m. at night, before he committed suicide. He asked the German nation to keep on fighting, not the Soviets, not the Allies, to keep on fighting the Jews. That was lesson 1 by Professor Ben Shlomo, and it leads directly to lesson 2 by Shalom Rosenberg. He says, philosophers, pure good, we never saw it on the face of earth. But we can see it right behind us, in Auschwitz, in Polaro, in Ukraine. Pure evil marked the Jews as its ultimate enemy. And the lesson that should be taken, says Professor Rosenberg, that a Jew, and I think that not just a Jew, but every human being, when he wakes up in the morning, needs to ask himself, how can I be enemy of evil? The enemy of evil. As if it says in our sources, Ohavei Hashem Simura. Unfortunately, anti-Semitism is not vanished. The effort to eliminate the Jewish people is still with us, and we need you with us on the fight to combat anti-Semitism in all its forms. And if it's possible, I wish that you can consider to embrace the so important IRA definition that gives an answer not just for classic anti-religious anti-Semitism, but also for new anti-Semitism that denies the right of us, the Jewish people, to have our own state, to be proud Jews in their proud homeland. Thank you. Toda rabah.
Thank you for your words, Minister. Before closing the ceremony, I would like to ask war hero Moshe if he will give at least 1 minute of his words.
Good evening, all of you. I'm sorry because of my age. I cannot recall all the distinguished guests here, but at least one is my brother Isaac. And, of course, our Minister and Ambassador, and our future Minister of Foreign Affairs of Mexico. You know, we're looking of the past. And when you look the past, you look the Jews that they took 6 million of them to be massacred, 1.5 million of children. And I'm asking myself, when I was 22 was my first war, in 67, when I understand the war, I went and I protect my country. As a volunteer. But if we, a nation that doesn't remember the past, cannot build the future. The Jewish in the past were not weak, were not scared, was not afraid, but what the psychology of the Germans was to bring those Jews to a position that they have nothing to lose. They killed their children, they killed their women, and they put them in a position that they really didn't care if they would stay alive or they would die. So we will never can forget that. But what we remember from that, and we learn more than we forget, the rule of the jungle, the strong will survive and the weak will get destroyed. Every country that had the Holocaust memorial, we thank them so much for that. But they need to bring their people to see that this can happen anywhere, everywhere. And in order to avoid that, we need to fight. To fight to protect our country. I lost my brother, I lost my sister in World War II. I came to Israel when I was 18 months. My first war was 1967. Since then, I've been in 6 wars, even with one arm. Why? Because one reason. I would like to die standing up from a bullet and not be taken to death only because I'm a Jew. You know, if you talk with someone that don't know that you are a Jew and you tell them we need to kill all the Jews and all the people that wear a tie, and the first question you're going to ask, why to kill the people that wear a tie? And we not ask why to kill a Jew. The Inquisition, the Germans, it's an obvious, no more. I was awarded as the hero of Israel by accident. All our soldiers that was fighting, all of them were heroes. We have lots of heroes in our country. And I'm telling from this podium, from the Holocaust Day, Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, we are there and we continue to be there forever and ever. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your words, Moshe Levi. Now I will present you Hassan Isaac Hayat, who will share. Now I will present you Hassan Isaac Hayat, who will share with us his beautiful voice.
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias a todos distinguidos. תודה רבה לכולם על ההזמנה. ברגע זה אנחנו נשיר את שיר המעלות, שכנראה ומסתבר שהרבה שרו את השיר הזה o התפללו את השיר הזה. En este momento vamos a decir el Salmo 21, que ese salmo que seguramente muchos que estaban en estos caminos tan difíciles estaban orando este Salmo 21. שיר למעלות, אשא עיניי אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי, עזרי מעם השם, עושה שמיים וארץ, הניתן למות רגליך, אל ינום שומרך, הנה לא ינום ולא יישן, שומר ישראל השם שומרך, השם צילך, על יד ימינך, יום השמש לא יככה, והריח בלילה, השם ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך, השם ישמור צאתך ובואך, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם. En este momento pedimos la petición de la querida Mary Cohen que nos pongamos, por favor, todos de pie, y vamos a guardar un minuto de silencio, נעמוד ונעשה דקה אחת לזכר כל הנופלים בשואה, ונחשוב גם, también hay que recordar y reflexionar en este momento, un minuto de silencio, דקה אחת לזכרם. תודה רבה. Muchas gracias, תודה רבה. Si gustan todavía quedarse de pie, אם אפשר עדיין לעמוד, אנחנו נשאיר עכשיו את שיר התקווה, vamos a cantar el himno de Israel, y acabando el himno vamos a hacer un Kadish, que es un rezo que se hace para memoria de todos. Pues vamos a cantar primero el himno de Israel en español y después en hebreo, נשאיר את himno התקווה בספרדית, ולאחר מכן גם בעברית. Mientras palpite el corazón de un alma judía, rumbo al oriente dirigimos la mirada a Jerusalén. No estará perdida la esperanza de 2000 años de ser un pueblo libre en nuestra tierra, la tierra de Sion y Jerusalén, de ser un pueblo libre en nuestra tierra, la tierra de Sion y Jerusalén. Coro de Baleba, Penima, Nefesh Yehudi, Omia, Ulfate Mizrach, Kadima, Ais Lezion, Sofia, Odelo
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דיברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי ויצמח פורקני ויקרב משיחי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן יהא שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהלל ויתעלה ויתהלל שמהדה קודשה בריחוף לעילא מכל ברכתה שירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה לאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן על ישראל ועל רבנן ועל תלמידיון ועל כל תלמידיון ועסקים באורייתא קדישתא דיבתרא דברי בכל אתר ואתר יעלנה להון ולכון חינא וחסדה ורחמי מן קודם מראה שמיה והרע ואמרו אמן יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה חיים וסבא ישועה ונחמה ושזבה ורפואה וגאולה וסליחה וכפרה ורווח והצלה לנו ולכל עמו ישראל ואמרו אמן עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Creo que en nombre de todos podemos dar las gracias a Hassan por su compartir su voz y su canto y su verbo con nosotros. I think that we can all share the thank you to Hassan for sharing his beautiful voice, his plea, and his chanting. For evil to thrive, is relevant that good people do nothing. This is why it's so important to remember, because this knowledge are barriers to bigotry, discrimination, hatred, and we are part of that. This museum, the knowledge that shares, incline people to social action. So in the hope and in the commitment to fulfill the promise of never again, I invite you now to resume the tour with my colleague Sonia, and I thank you for being here, for your time and for your energy. In the name of the Museum of Memory and Tolerance, thank you, and this is commemoration. It's over, and now we go to the tour. Thank you very much.